Okay, so full disclosure, I have not recorded my NFL Week 8 in review video yet. I plan on doing so either later today or kind of like first thing tomorrow. Just yesterday was really fucking busy, and this video should be a lot shorter, so I want to go ahead and get this one done first. If it's recorded first, or it's gonna be recorded first. If it's uploaded first, it's important for me to feel like I have this disclaimer. If I do hold off on uploading it second, then I wasted 30 seconds of your time. I apologize for that. Let's not waste any more. First game of week 9, tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football. Will Levis is going to lead the Tennessee Titans into Pittsburgh to take on Trubisky, I think. I'm not actually sure if Pickett is playing or not. I'm not sure how bad the injury was. But to take on the Steelers. So I think it's really better to say he's going to be playing TJ Watt in the Steelers defense, because that's why I have the Steelers winning. Yes, Will Levis balled the fuck out in his first game as a starter, and you'll love to see it, unless you're like a Jags fan or something, or a Falcons fan. So I definitely love to see it. And yeah, it's not like the Falcons defense is just like a bunch of scrubs. They do have like a pretty solid unit. But I see it as like, okay, this is a rookie on a very short week going against the Pittsburgh defense, who are some nasty fucking dudes. I don't see this going super well for 10. Like, I don't think they're going to get like shut out or anything, but I feel like Will Levis is going to have more of a rookie kind of game. Be like 200 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks, maybe a running TD, depending on how things go, something like that, with the Steelers defense having a really good game. And Tennessee has a good defense too, and we all know the issues with the Steeler offense. But Pittsburgh is one of those teams, like if you let them hang around, they will generally find ways to win. Game against the Jaguars notwithstanding, but that's usually how they are. And I feel like Pittsburgh is going to hang around long enough and have like at least 1 to 2 good plays to Pickens and or Deontay Johnson to put things away. Also, Titans aren't going to be wearing those Oilers jerseys anymore. I'm going to just say it. It's not like I'm like, man, I think Will Levis is going to be complete dog shit for the rest of the year, his career or anything. But I'm like, I don't know. That might have just been some Oilers magic. Some Frosty the Snowman shit. Like, there may have been some magic in that old Oilers logo that they found. But we're in November. It's not time to talk about Christmas yet. But I don't think there will be quite a Christmas miracle. I've got Pittsburgh winning. Miami and Kansas City. The Germany game, which, fuck, I wish I could have gone to this. Like, if this was a local... I mean, I work on Sunday, so I wouldn't have been able to anyways. But, man... this sounds like it's going to be such a good game. I expect Kansas City's offense to play a lot fucking better, because I'm assuming that after a week or so, Mahomes is not going to have the flu, that he'll be feeling a lot better, that with him feeling better, he can play better, which means the offense is going to be clicking. They do have a very good defense, and I do think they'll be able, both offensively and defensively, be able to keep pace with Miami. But I still have Miami winning. Their offense, I think, is just too good. And yes, there are games where they can start slow, but they will catch up. Like, they feel like the most consistent offense in the league. Like, it was San Francisco, and now you look at San Francisco and you're like, I still think they're really good. But Miami, I trust a lot. And the defense, which has not felt terrible. It's like they're not as good or reliable as the offense, but they're still really good. Now have Jalen Ramsey back, and like in his first game back, caught a pick, had a big return. Yeah, I think the Dolphins are gonna still be a fucking contender, and like, I've got them beating the Chiefs. Minnesota at Atlanta. So the Vikings no longer have Kirk Cousins, and they no longer have Justin Jefferson. Or I believe Jefferson is still on IR. I don't think he's coming back in this game. They traded for Josh Dobbs, who I remember, the first two comments I saw, because I saw it on Twitter, and it was like, I think it was Schefter's tweet, and like the first one was like, dude, they got a fucking baller in Dobbs, like, Minnesota's gonna be good for a bit. And then the next comment immediately under that, not even a reply, just two separate comments, was like, why? He's trash. And like I saw a bunch of comments to that first one being like, what do you mean like he's really good? He sucks. Do you not watch football? And then I saw comments to the other one where I'm like, dude, he's trash. I was like, he's good. Do you not watch football? It's like no one knows what to think of Josh Dobbs. I think he's not terrible, but I don't think he's great either. I feel like he's a relatively serviceable backup. I hope he balls out in Minnesota. Like, I hope he has a great career. I don't have them beating the Falcons, though. They're not playing Desmond Ridder at quarterback in this game. They didn't confirm. Heineke is going to be the starter. And I like Taylor Heineke a lot. I think, like, he has that, like, it feels like he's got that chip on his shoulder. Like, he's always underestimated. But then when he comes in, he does provide that big spark for a team. Now, I don't know if he's going to propel the Falcons on, like, a playoff run. I hope he doesn't. And I do feel like Minnesota's defense has been playing a lot better the past few weeks. But I feel like I feel the Falcons in this one. I don't even know if Dobbs is going to be playing because, like, they just traded for him. Like, they might not have enough time to, like, really ingratiate him into the playbook. And if they do, it might be a more limited playbook because of that. Whereas Heineke's been with this team the whole fucking year, and maybe he can actually distribute the ball more efficiently to all the playmakers because the Falcons have a lot on offense, man. So, like, I just think I've got Atlanta in this one. Chicago. Okay, so the next one is the Bears and the Saints. I'm picking the Saints mostly because they're playing the Bears, and literally my note just says, quote, please don't lose the fucking Bears, end quote. Just, please. Oh gosh, that might happen. I feel like I've said it several times this year. I was like, if there's a team that will lose to the Bears, it would be the fucking Saints. They're coming off a big win after fucking exploding on offense, showing that they can do it. Yeah, we just forgot how against the Bears. I wouldn't be surprised either. I hate it that I've got the Saints winning. Just please don't do this to me. The Rams and the Packers, here's the thing, like, neither of these teams are looking especially good right now. But I can at least say, like, in the second half, it seems like every week, the Packers show a lot of life and they show a lot of fight. They weren't able to do a lot of scoring against the Vikings, but they were able to, like, get down in there. They just couldn't. It's like, man, like, there's all kinds of innuendos. It's like they couldn't quite finish and shit. I was like, yeah, like, they could move the ball, but it was at a point in the game where it's like, we have to get a touchdown on fourth down, and they just couldn't get it in there. But I don't know. I mean, the Rams, how good is the Rams defense? Like, they have Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's a fucking monster. They didn't move him at the deadline. There was a little bit of rumors that, like, maybe someone will try to get him. But the Rams aren't going to have Stafford. They're going to be playing, I think, Brett Rippon. He's got two great weapons in Nakua and Kupp. But, I mean, it's not like they have a really great run game they can rely on. Like, it's not terrible, but it's not like, whoa, this is really good. Like, I feel like the second half Packers are going to be what wins this game against the Rams. So I've got Green Bay. Who's that? Washington and New England. So, like I say, it's like when I think Washington looks good, then they lose. And when I think, I'm like, man, they don't look good anymore, they fucking win, or they'll ball out. Because that Washington offense looked fucking great, dude. Sam Howell was slinging it. He did have some very, very costly turnovers at the end of that game, though. But he looked great. The defense, not so much. They were playing the Eagles, who are a very good offense. But the defense is probably going to look worse now because they got rid of Sweat and they got rid of Young. And I know Young has been very inconsistent even when he is on the field. But what game was it? I think there was like I don't remember which one it was. It was like a couple weeks ago. He had like 3 or 4 sacks in a game. Like he'd been able to play well. And it's kind of funny how a few weeks ago, Jonathan Allen essentially is like, dude, it might have been the Giants game where, Young had a really good day. Because Jonathan Allen, after that loss, was like, this fucking sucks. Like, I'm so sick of it. He essentially said, it's like, we've been losing ever since I got here, and I'm fucking sick of it. So the guy who publicly was like, we need to fucking do something, I don't want to be here anymore, is the guy that didn't get traded. That's kind of funny to me. It's like, they got rid of Sweat, they got rid of Young, and I'm like, man, Montez Sweat went from the Commanders to the Bears, which hopefully he doesn't ball out against the Saints. But it's like, can you imagine? It's like, yeah, I went from one team that's like not great to the fucking Bears, and then hearing that your teammate got shipped to the fucking 49ers, like, bruh, it should have been me, not him. It should have been me. But anyways, my point is, like, they're playing New England. And it's not like the Patriots have looked great, but like Mac Jones actually looked pretty good the past few games, and the Washington defense they've just got rid of a few pieces. I mean, I can't believe in New England, but I can't believe in Washington either, because when they show me something, they then forget what they just showed me. So I guess I'll pick the Patriots. I don't feel particularly confident either way, but fuck it, I'll take New England. Seattle and Baltimore. I've been very critical of the Ravens, but like the first few weeks of the season, they felt really inconsistent. And like that Pittsburgh loss is so bad to me. Like, no, they didn't get blown out, but like that is snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. That is classic Steeler football bullshit genjutsu magic. Like, I get that. But I'm also like, it also feels like almost classic Ravens to fall for it. And I was expecting them to get like destroyed by the Lions, and the opposite happened. I was expecting them to like slow down against the Cardinals, which did happen. Because like, I got Lamar on my fantasy team. Trust me, he slowed down this week. But they still got the job done. They were still up by double. Like, again, like there were a couple of scores that were essentially set up by Josh Dobbs' turnovers, which helped quite a bit. They still put up 31 points. They were still able to like clamp down. Like they were able to do what they needed to do to win, even if it wasn't their best played game. And finding ways to win is what a good team does. Whether you're playing great teams, mediocre teams, or bad teams, a win is a win. They all count for the same, and the Ravens have 6 of them. The Seahawks have a lot too. I think they're 5 and... What are they? This is week 9. So I think they're 5 and 2 because they had a bye. So there's only... maybe they're 5 and 3? Yeah, this is week 9. Not week... Is this week 10 now? I don't fucking know anymore. I've just lost track, dude. I think the Saints are 500. So I think we're 4 and 4. So that is 8. So this should be week 9. So I think Seattle's 5 and 2. What did they lose to? Lost to the Rams. I can't remember the other team off the top of my head that beat Seattle. Because I don't think it was Detroit, because they beat Detroit. Anyways, my point is, the Ravens are a really good team. The Seahawks are also a really good team. I feel like the Ravens keep proving me wrong. Oh, the Bengals. That's who beat the Seahawks. The Ravens keep proving me wrong, so I feel more inclined to pick them. But I think this is going to be a very good game. I don't think it's a Super Bowl preview, but these are both teams I expect to be in the playoffs. They could definitely, like, I feel like either of them could go on a run. I mean, like, I've seen the Giants and Eli Manning have 2 crazy runs by just getting into the playoffs. That's really all you need to happen. So who knows? Maybe we'll see this matchup again in February. Maybe, I mean, fuck. I mean, you could also say that about like the 49ers and the Ravens, 49ers and the Bengals, Seahawks and the Bengals. Because, dude, the Bengals, they're getting their shit together. Is that actually the next game? Is the Cincy game? No, because that's Sunday night. I'm really excited for that. But like, I've got the Ravens winning this one. Next one is, oh, hi, Mr. Spider. Tampa Bay and Houston. I mean, this is kind of the opposite of Seahawks Ravens. It's like, well, these like, man, both of these teams are coming off big wins. I mean, again, the Ravens wasn't like a huge win. The Seahawks were like, this is against a good defense. We're able to pull it out like right at the end, where the Ravens like, we didn't play our best game, but we still did what we needed to do. But they both look still good. Tampa did not look very good against the Bills. Yes, it was close, but the offense basically didn't do anything until the very end of the game. And a lot of that is like, yeah, like Buffalo is just a very battered team, a very vulnerable team. I still have a lot of faith in Buffalo, but it's comes from more of a bias, I feel, than like actually like, yeah, this team looks really good. Tampa, I mean, a lot of the problems like the offensive line, but then they just couldn't do anything on third down. And then it's like, even on like one of the reasons they finally got a touchdown is they had a sack on fourth down. And then at the very end, the guy started pulling Baker's face mask when he didn't need to. Or like, oh, well, thanks for extending the drive, idiot. They don't look that good, but does Houston really look that good? No. But I mean, I guess I'll pick Tampa because they didn't lose to Carolina. I don't think have they played the Panthers yet? I'm not sure. But Houston just lost to Carolina, which I figured they would. I was like, if Carolina's going to win a game, it'll be this one. But you still lost to Carolina. It doesn't instill confidence, but you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to change it. I'm going to pick Houston. I'm going to pick CJ Stroud to have a big comeback game. I'm going to say they beat Tampa. I don't like the Bucks. I don't have to pick them, especially if I feel this very lukewarm kind of either way. I'm going to pick Houston. Arizona and Cleveland. I'm still going to pick Cleveland. Cleveland does have a very good defense. I don't know what the Cardinals are going to do at quarterbacks. They just traded Dobbs, so that makes me think that Kyler Murray is going to be back. Because I believe it was last week he was practicing. So if he is ready to go, we might see Kyler Murray. And he is a very good player, but he's also coming off that injury. I wouldn't be surprised to see some rust. And that Cleveland defense is going to be like make him look rusty, I feel like will happen. I don't have much else to say. It's like, I mean, I don't expect PJ Walker to light it up because it's PJ Walker. But I do think Cleveland will win. The Colts and the Panthers. I think the Panthers are going to play with a lot of heart this game. They just got their first win. I don't think it's something that's going to like quite spark like a huge run and now they're going to be like a playoff team or anything. But I mean, hey, RG3, his rookie year was like 3-6 and they won 7 straight, won the division. And, we all know what happened. So it's not impossible that they could go on a big run. And they're only like, 3 games out of first place in the South. But still another game against the Saints, a game against the Panthers. Again, or the Panthers, but the Falcons. Again, I'm not sure if they played Tampa, so it's either a game there or 2 games there. The Panthers aren't out of it yet. I think they play really hard, again, kind of sparked by their win. And also, this was the team that fired Frank Reich. So it might be that he's like, I really want to beat the Colts. So I feel like the Panthers as a whole will really want to beat the Colts. But I feel like the Colts are a better team. They played pretty well overall last week. I mean, I can't say the defense did because you gave up 5 touchdowns to the Saints, which I'm happy they did. But I'm like, I've seen the Saints offense play, man. Like, that's not good. And they gave up a lot of points to Cleveland. So Bryce Young might have himself a day. Talking about it, I feel like I'm like, man, I'm picking the Colts. I want the Colts to win. I'm rooting for the Colts. I'm like, man, Frank Reich's going to really want to win this game. And yeah, it's not like the Colts defense is really that good. Bryce Young could go off. I don't know. I feel like something's telling me to pick Carolina and something's telling me to stay with Indy. Bahamut, what should I do? Panthers or Colts? I feel like you're telling me to stick with the Colts, so I'm gonna stick with the Colts. I'm gonna say like the Panthers play hard, but it's not enough to win. The Giants and the Raiders. Okay, so literally my notes were just they both suck, but fuck it, I'll pick the Giants. But Josh McDaniels got fired last night, which I'll say I wasn't expecting. With like talks about like how Mark Davis is like he's an NFL owner, he's got $1 gazillion, but like he kind of needs to save money, so he probably doesn't want to fire a coach and then hire a new guy and still pay the old coach. And it was like I figured McDaniels would at least finish the season. Kind of surprised. I mean, it really felt like if you didn't fire him after how bad last year was, you're not going to fire him before like the end of this season. So I'm shocked they did. I'm shocked that he went before Eberflus or Staley. I really thought one of them would probably go, or maybe even Ron Rivera. It was McDaniels. And look, like I've never met the guy. I don't have anything personal against Josh McDaniels or Jimmy Garoppolo. But I see what that Raider team did with Richie B. And after just like off the field shit, like they were a fucking like circus from hell. But they pulled together, went on a run, made the playoffs, and gave the Bengals, who went to the Super Bowl that year, like they gave them a fucking fight. This is a team that maybe, like if they had kept him, maybe go back to the playoffs, maybe go on a run. I can't say for sure that they will, but like I would have had some faith in them. But as soon as they hired Josh McDaniels, I was like, this is the same dude that after the Colts hired him and hired all his staff said, I'm going to go back. Oh, so he has no spine. Like, that's just how it looked to me. I was like, why would you trust that guy? And then after a few games, like, yeah, why did you trust that guy? This was a terrible hire. And then they went and got Jimmy G. It's like, I think I heard a stat where Jimmy G is leading the league in interceptions, and he's missed like 2 games. What the fuck, dude? Like, I don't have anything against Jimmy G, but I don't think he's very good. They spent a lot of money on him, and it's like, well, they fired McDaniels because he sucks. They benched Jimmy G because he sucks. Let's see what we got in the ruck with Aiden O'Connell. I'm like, man, I was gonna pick the Giants. Mostly because, like, that's how much I don't believe in McDaniels and Garoppolo, but, well, they're not there. Who the fuck knows? This is a real unknown now. I mean, the Giants are playing Tommy DeVito, as far back as I can remember. I always wanted to be a Giant, which I have written on my notes for the review video, so, like, I wanted to use that joke here, too. So you're going to get it twice. I kind of like it. I like it quite a bit. But, I'll pick the fucking Raiders now. Now that like the thing, I don't want to say the thing, that sounds really mean, but it's like the reason I was picking against them basically all season is I don't believe in Josh McDaniels. He's not there anymore? All right. Show me now, Raiders. What do you got? I will give you the benefit of the doubt. Because I got the Raiders beating the Giants. Dallas and Philly. There's a part of me that's like, how the fuck is this not a primetime game, dude? Like, arguably the 2 biggest teams in the NFC in terms of at least, like, fan bases and shit. In terms of, like, quality of the team, these are, like, 2 top 5 NFC teams. Probably maybe a little higher than that. Big division rivalry. It's like this. I got the Eagles because I do trust Philly more overall. I think this is going to be a fun game. These teams know each other. These teams hate each other. These teams both have Super Bowl aspirations. And I feel like Phillies are a bit more grounded in reality. I think this is going to be a fun fucking game. I think it'll be close, like within a 14-7 kind of range, But I think Philly's got it. The reason this is not a primetime game is because this week we have Buffalo and Cincinnati as our Sunday nighter, and I'm like, oh man, oh, I keep saying it. Like, I believe in the Bills, I believe in Josh Allen. I can't pick them in good conscience against the Bengals right now. The Bills were lucky to beat the Giants because they should have been called for PI at the end. The Bills were lucky to beat the Bucks because they should have been called for PI at the end. Like, I've heard some people say it's like, look, it's a Hail Mary. Like, you shouldn't call PI in a Hail Mary. I'm like, well, why the fuck not? It's still a play. Like, it's still something that's happening. If a guy is like clearly, like, it looked like Mike Evans had like two dudes just like not playing the ball, grabbing him, tackling him and shit. I'm like, look, I don't like Mike Evans. I hate the Bucks. That's a fucking flag. Now, yes, like Chris Godwin like turned his head around and caught the ball. Like, they probably win the fucking game. It's like, again, like that's how lucky the Bills are. Of course, it's like, yeah, luck is important and, it's better to be lucky than good. But there's a point where you start to just go, this team isn't good. They're just lucky. They've won 2 of their last 3, which sounds really good until you realize they easily could have lost 3 of their last 3. The Bengals, meanwhile, have gone on a roll. And again, I keep saying they've only beaten NFC teams, which is just weird. I don't know how that's how they've like been so far. Maybe that continues and they lose to the Bills. They're like, okay, I guess they can only beat the NFC this year. So congrats on your 5 wins, but 12 losses, Cincinnati. But right now, they look way better than the Bills. They look a lot sharper than the Bills. I have to pick Cincinnati right now based on what I have seen. So I got the Bengals. After that, that's the Chargers and the Jets. Why the fuck are the Chargers on prime time again? And no, I don't mean that in a sense of like, this team's terrible. Why are they on prime time? Last week, like, yeah, they were playing the Bears. That shouldn't have been a fucking prime time game at all. But it's like, this is like thrice in 4 games that they've been on prime time. Monday night, then the regular game against the Chiefs, and Sunday night, Monday night. It's just weird. I'm now getting Chargers fatigue. And I look at the Chargers, I'm like, do I trust them? It's like, man, they beat the shit out of the Bears when I said they wouldn't because I don't trust them. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, it's not like I really trusted the Bears. This was more of an indictment against the Chargers. They proved me wrong. They played a great game, but do I still trust them? No, you beat the Bears. But do I trust the Jets? I mean, I said the Jets would beat the Giants, and they almost didn't. If Graham Gano made one of those 2 kicks, they wouldn't have beaten them. It's like this, like, who do I trust less? The Chargers or the Jets? So I'm like, I trust the Chargers less because it's Brandon Staley. I'm like, Chargers are going to Charger. But then I'm also like, I don't trust the Jets offense. I was going to pick the Chargers, but now I'm like, hey, I should pick the Jets. Fuck it. I will pick the Jets. Am I, though? I think. So, I'm just going to round up my picks. I got Pittsburgh over Tennessee, Miami over Kansas City, Atlanta over Minnesota, New Orleans over Chicago. Please beat the fucking Bears. Packers over the Rams. Patriots over the Commanders. I don't know. I changed my pick here. I got Houston over Tampa. Cleveland over Arizona. I'm sticking with Indy over Carolina. I changed it to the Raiders now over the Giants. Philly over Dallas. Cincy over Buffalo. I mean, I have the Chargers written down, but I don't really trust them. I don't trust the Jets either. I'll pick the Jets. I pick the Chargers. I feel more comfortable saying I picked the Chargers. I think man, that Jets offense is bad. I'll pick the Chargers. And then on bye this week, Denver, Detroit, Jacksonville, and San Francisco. So, gotta do some shit on my fantasy team to adjust for that. Like I was like, Kittle's my tight end, so I think I'm gonna pick up Taysom Hill for at least this week, because hopefully he gets a couple rushing TDs or some shit. That'll help out. But those are my picks, and we'll see how bad I do this week.